Hi, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and this is a channel about cross stitch. And so, let's see, this is my second video for February. I don't know how well you can see this, but it is gray and dreary and wet in Oregon, just like I like it. We have some snow in the mountains, which is finally, we need our snowpack every year so that we can avoid some of the problems with wildfires in our state. And so let's get busy. I guess I have one announcement I heard about yesterday, and I don't know if this number is still correct, but as of yesterday, which was Saturday, I'm doing this video a little earlier because I have time today, but so there were 37 in-person slots for PNWS, Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. And we're going to have 3 designers. We're going to have Lindy Stitches, The Blue Flower, and Plum Street Samplers, which this will be the first retreat in my entire life, and I've only been going to retreats since, should have brought my water in here, since 2023. And I've actually finished in the last year, actually a little bit longer than a year, actually finished 3 things, which one from each designer. Well, I haven't finished any of Janine McGowan, The Blue Flower, any of her stuff, that like her entire pattern, but I've done motifs from her patterns in 2 bibs, and I know she would love to see those bibs. She actually showed one of them on her channel, and she hasn't seen the other one. And I've talked to the moms, and I think I've talked to one of the moms, and I think the other one would be fine. Giving up the bib for the weekend. Let's see, I have been doing, gosh, and it's right here, I've been doing I Spy prompts. This was January's, which was 97.5% complete. I've been doing it a little bit differently, where I, for each prompt, I select all of my whips that meet that prompt, and then I touch each of the whips over the month. So you can see, I actually touched something in this prompt yesterday, and actually completed touching that thing for the month. You can't see my tallies, I'm sure, in this video, but because I haven't printed up a new one, I just keep track on my computer. But I had printed this out so I could, for my last Flosstube, read what the prompts were. And so the prompts were snow or something with snow or ice, which I have touched for that one, and you saw the new start for that one, I believe, on my last Flosstube. And then something that starts with an E, I completed that prompt for my last Flosstube. An object or motif that is repeated on a project, which, as I mentioned, if you're doing samplers or Quakers, you see a lot of repeated motifs. I have a couple samplers that I'm doing. They're on this list. I have some other things which have repeated motifs that aren't samplers. And then a small project, I always do a ton of small projects, so I have I had 9 things that were repeated motifs that fit that criteria, and I had 7, was it 8? Yeah, I recounted. When I did this, I had counted up the different whips that met the criteria, and then I realized my count was off, and so I finally have settled on 22 whips, and the repeated motif actually had 9 whips, and the small project had 8 whips. And then the other ones didn't didn't change except for one of them I'll get to in a minute. They didn't change in the number of prompts except for that one. And then the prompt number 5 is an animal that is a common pet, of course, cats. And then hearts. And the heart one, I don't stitch anything with hearts normally. In fact, I had a really beautiful heart pattern that looked like a heart made out of lace. And I ended up I think I either put that on the free table or at Pinwis, or I gave it to a friend. I don't recall, but somebody got it for free. And then something with flowers, so I have several of those, and something found in a fairy tale, which was hard for me. And I had put purple pansy angel because the angel looked more like a fairy to me. The crystal ball, which I explained why it was there last time, and then because the crystal ball is the only one in that prompt that I've touched, and then the castle, Teresa Wentzler, that I'm going to have to restart, and I basically FFO'd, no, not FFO'd, UFO'd, wrong acronym. I basically classed as an unfinished object. The needle on it had rusted, and there was some yellow staining from maybe back in the day before I knew that I had to really wash my hands before touching my cross stitch, which I normally did, but yeah, there was some like yellow staining on the side, and I thought, oh, it's just on the side, it'll be hidden by when it gets framed, and no, it was a little bit, it was in the stitched area too. So I'm gonna have to restart that, and that's really sad because I had quite a bit of it done. I mean, it was maybe 40% done, and it's a ton of tweeted stitches, and yeah, it's big, and it's I don't know the stitch count, but it's in the Best of Teresa Wentzler kind of fantasy book that got put out. I have that book. So let's see. And I had completed the something with a sharp edge and something that is maroon color. And so I had one more time where I touched fish and ships, which was an object that has a repeated motif. And so I've got that to show. And I had one more, again, the object with a repeated motif. Acorn Manor has some repeated motifs because it's sort of a sampler, and or it is a sampler. And so I'm going to show those two, and I only have one left that's a repeated motif, and that is Purple Pansy Angel, which is always a beast to try and get out and lay out and then not have the kitties mess with it. And I haven't been stitching at the shop. That was yesterday, Saturday. The Sailor Mare Stitchers, we had a Saturday retreat, mini retreat in our in one of our houses, and it was great, and I will show the highlights from that later in this video because you'll be excited to see what I did. So, all right, fish and ships. I had talked about, this is the Long Dog Sampler. It's stitched on 40 count metallic Pacific blue. That's from Zweigart, and I have done a bunch of half stitches or full cross stitches to do the border, and I finally rounded the corner to start going up. And so, but I've done the full border from end to end on the bottom, which is like 100 and, let me peek at the thing. Yeah, it's like 187 stitches. That has been counted, and it is 187. And so, anyway, and I had shown you I'm using the needle dome where you can thread bunches of different needles with, and it usually works best if it's the same color. And so this is a monochromatic piece with DMC B5200. I always got stumbled on that one. So, all right. So nothing exciting there except that it got touched 3 times this month. And then Acorn Manor got touched 3 or 4 times this month. I think 3 times this month. And so the last thing that I did on it, let me show you the picture. Just gotta pull it out from the, there it is. So this is the picture. This is for Maximum Cross Stitch. And Acorn Manor was the exclusive pattern for the Acorn Gathering Mini Retreat, which was the last Saturday this January, last month. And so I had finished the bottom border and one of the side of this 220, yeah, I think this is 221, DMC 221, is this reddish border. This other part here is the frame in this picture. So I had finished the bottom border and I finished most of the side border here, and so I did that basket and it turned out really well. And so there's the basket on the left hand side of the pattern, and it was really easy. And I wanted to show you the back because the back's really cool looking. So so front and my back, which looks like kind of like, oh, you can't see it as well on the camera, I think, but can't really get a good, I will take a picture of the back and insert it because it looks, it looks like zigzags and stuff. It's very clean because, you know, I try my best on those, being clean in the back, but it doesn't look like the front. So, all right, I'm getting this stuff into the project bag so I can zip it up. Okay. Good. Got the flat things at the bottom. All right, then the new start I had this month was Saltwater Scrapbook, and I'm working on this one right here. Again, I think I have a screenshot of this one. It's a squirrel and a fox having ice cream on the seashore, and I have a friend who really loves squirrels, and I'm not so big on the squirrels, so I'm kind of glad I'll be the fox and she'll be the squirrel. And all right, and then I'm trying to shove the flosses. Nothing really exciting about this one. This was a piece of 32 count Bathy from Fortnite Fabrics, and I had finished the left hand border, and then I started on, and I had started the banner or the border at the bottom, and then this is only like 62 by 62. The stitch count that they give on this pattern is, maybe it's not 60, maybe it's like 40 something. It's 123 wide, and I may have to recount that, and then 123 wide, and it has 3 things in it, so maybe it's closer to 40, which means I'll have to recount this. So anyway, yeah. So that's the banner at the top of the ice cream store, which you can see those little red and white flags. So, all right. Okay, I'm not gonna put that back in the project bag until after. Don't have too much to show you. So then the thing that I worked on like 2 or 3 days, well, more than that. I think this was in three different prompts, so I worked on it like 3 times over 4 days. And this is Count Be Correct, and it's the scissor fob. Uh-oh. Hold on here, I dropped it. Okay, so the last thing I showed, which was saltwater scrapbook, it was a collaboration between the Blue Flower and Lindy Stitches, and I'm stitching on the Blue Flower pattern. So moving on to another one that I finished up for the month is Count Be Correct by Jeanette Douglas. And so this was a class that was taught in 2025 at Acorns and Threads. This is the full sampler, and this is the smalls part that were also included, and I'm doing the scissor fob, and I am not using exclusively the called for. I'm doing mostly the called for in the kind of flower leaf bordering part, but the flower I stitched with different silks. So I used Gloriana silks, which are the same silks that we were kitted up for this class, and this is on 36 count stationery. Let me pull out, I can see it there. Sorry if it's rattly paper. So Count Be Correct was on Serafina linen, and this is old stationery. And the funny thing, the old stationery that we got, the 40 count was like this kind of grayish fabric, and then the 36 count was more of a grayish tan. And so, oh, you know what? I pulled out the wrong piece of grayish tan here. That's kind of funny. Makes me wonder if I started on the right piece of fabric. I hope so. We got like one piece to do the sampler on, and then we got one piece to do the smalls on. So, and I think they were both the same size. So anyway, this is, I finished the flower and I started working on the leaf parts, and I realized I picked, there's a olive green and a brown that have like the exact same symbol, except one of the symbols pointing this way and one's pointing that way. And I picked the brown symbol, which means that I may have to buy more of this Woolly Bear Gloriana brown, because that was one of the threads that is not needed for a lot of the sampler. And so that means when I did these 2 leaves, that means I used up a lot of what I had. So so I can get more Gloriana at Acorns and Threads. Gloriana is local to us, so we market them pretty well. So, and then there was a green that is the leaves, and so there'll be a couple more leaves over here, and then there'll be some more leafy kind of garland thing around it as a border. So, but anyway, I realized I finished this one and it started in on that one, and I realized I can buy more, you know, and it's, you know, it's just one color and one skein that I can get for this, and you know, so all right, put this back in the project bag, and again, this is 36 count Serafina linen, old stationery, and All right, so that was a lot of the smalls, the object that's small or the object that's repeated. And like I say, I'm down to only one of those that I still need to do. And so moving on, I did a couple of the ones, actually, let's see, animal that is a common pet. I only have one left that I haven't stitched on, and that in those 5 whips. And so I showed you the kitty calendar last time, and yes, so I'm going to show you three more patterns. Oh, let me go back one more. Is this one? Yes. This is an object that is repeated on a project, and so object that is repeated on a, I'm trying to remember which was the object that's repeated. Haha. Well, so this is I thought there were acorns on this. Oh yes, there are acorns on this. So an object that is repeated are the little cross stitches of acorns. So I was thinking of that when I thought, let's throw this into object that is repeated. Also the mushrooms are repeated, and at least the orange mushrooms, and the squirrels and the crows. So that's what I was thinking when I thought, ooh, objects that's repeated. And so I did make, although it won't look like it when you see my whip, I did make substantial progress, which is I finished the rows that were the lightest green of the grass down at the bottom. And I have been going back and forth, and this is Lola Crow, and I've been going back and forth about how to stitch this because it's weeks linen. The weeks is kind of tight, so I was concerned that the stitches were just kind of too puffy and not working out well. And so I finished the light green. I started the darker green right there, and I thought, you know, the 2 strands, they just seemed rather thick, and I wasn't sure they were laying well. But now that I've got them all completed, except for this one little section, I realized I forgot to cross the X's on. I think they're okay, and I think I will stick with 2 strands, which is what the called for is. My option would have been going 1 strand of DMC, and it's just DMC. It's not like it's silk. So anyway, that's what I got done on this one, and I'm really glad because, you know, I was really kind of frustrated with the green grass. And now that I've thought, no, I'm just going to do this, and, you know, I know I had a friend that had, when you do the black parts, and I think the raccoon has a lot of black in it, then it's like you can't really do or see anything else in that. So when you're stitching this, don't do the black floss sections until the end. That's a pro tip from my friend Tammy, the Woodland Stitching Studio, and so that she already finished this, so that was her pro tip. All right, and so now we'll get into, put that one away, and oh, and the Weeks Dye Works is that I am doing the Acorns and Friends, and that was from the 2025 Acorn Gathering, which is our mini retreat at Acorns and Threads. So so kind of lost where I was in my spiel. So anyway, so I think that is it for repeated motifs. And so I have one more that is, actually I have 2 more that go in the smalls, and 3 more actually. Yeah, 3 more. And Willow, I'm sorry, honey. I have everything up here. I didn't move that down. She's like, but I want to see you. So, you gonna come up here, sweetie? Okay, I unblocked it so she can get her food. All right, so I'm gonna go through what has been done for the smalls, and then I'll go into the cat ones. So make sure I've got, okay, this is a small, that's a small, and these, oh, sorry, girl. These 2, okay, now I'm gonna put these 2 over here. I had a plastic bin full of these things, so I'm unpacking the plastic bin. Willow's sniffing the plastic bin. So, what things that are small, and I will put a picture of this one because I don't have I basically have been doing it off my screen with the PDFs on my computer, and this is from Jingle Ball 2025. This is the 2025 Jeanette Douglas ornament, and so this is on a piece of it's Swigart, it's Stormy Clouds Lugana, so it's a kind of whitish gray, maybe, no, it's almost an ivory with gray clouds. And so so anyway, I have a big enough piece with this, and this is a small, like, I'm sorry, Willow. Can I help you? She's trying to get in the window. Can I help you, girl? One moment. Here, let me help you. Oh, okay. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay. And I'll move all the projects. Oops. Yeah, we can throw the projects on the floor. There. Cats have priority in my house. And so she wanted to look out the window. Okay, baby. There you go. Yes. All right. Okay, so Jeanette Douglas, 2025 Jingle Ball Christmas ornament. She has done one every year that's different ornaments and using different specialty stitches. I finished the Bargello. It's not perfect, but I'm going to redo. She reissued for the class participants all 3 of her Christmas ornaments for the last 3 years, and one of her assistants did a blue, teal, silver colorway, and I have that. And so when I finish this one, and then I will go ahead and start for Christmas 2026. It's going to be one of my Advent stitches to restart the 2025, 2024, and 2023 Christmas ornaments, which are all the same size. They're like 35 by 35, although I'm going to do mine 36 because somehow I added an extra row in one of my borders, which mystifies me because I did these Greek crosses. I thought I'd done them perfectly, and I counted every stitch, and it seemed like it should have added up, but it didn't. So, all right. So that's what I'm working on, and will finish this year. May not finish it until further in the year, like after Pinwis. Pinwis a little early this year, so I'm like, when can I get this? When can I get my Pinwis small done? And then I have to stick that right there so she doesn't get into it. And then, yeah, so that was one of my smalls. A repeated motif, I forgot this one, was a gathering of acorns, which was an exclusive for the 2024 Acorns and Threads mini retreat. Got the houses except for the chimneys done. And last time I talked about working on the foundation. And so this time around I finished the, you can still see there are empty blocks, and I finished the black bricks. And I still need to put in the bricks that are the color of this is Campfire. I think it's, yeah, Weeks Dye Works. So this Campfire color goes next to these black bricks in the white mortar. So that's all I got to do to get that part done. And so my friend Tammy was talking about that the the Acorns Gathering mini retreat is like they kind of alternate pattern styles. So this year was a sampler style, and this and last year was the fun style, which was the Willow Crow. I don't know. I mean, yes, I've seen like a sampler, two sampler types, and I'm stitching all three. When the mini retreat comes, you just bring your needles and your scissors and whatever you need to actually stitch, and then they provide you the fabric, the floss, and the pattern. And then, because it's really tightly packed, so you don't have time to, you don't have space to bring other stuff. So so anyway, I have started all three of my mini retreats. I have yet to start a pinwheel project. Although I am going to start the pinwheel project that I did for a small in 2024. I'm going to restart that this year because I want to do one for me. And I had a conversation with my friend Tammy because she does a lot of finishing. So she is going to help me once I get that small that I gave away, when I restart that and redo it, because I really liked it and I bought it because I wanted to do it for me, but I was like, ooh, it's the right size for the small. So I did one and gave it away. And she did a wonderful finish, a box finish, and the person who got it loved it. And and I asked her yesterday, I said, do you still have that fabric you did the finish on? And she's like, I think I do. And I'm like, I would love for you to do the box finish for me, and I'm gonna restart it this year. And she's like, I would love to do that and show you how I finish it. And so more on finishing in our Saturday, Sailor Mary Stitchers Saturday retreat in just a bit. All right, so I started Liberty Pennies, hands-on design. That is my patriotic small that will be in exchange for Pinwis 2026, because I'm going. And it is a little spendier than in previous years. We have 3 designers, and Janine, our shop owner, she goes all out, and airfare, lodging, food, everything for the designers. And she's got 3 designers, so that's, and we're also going to be in the big ballroom at our venue. I will probably be commuting because I can, even, it's a 40-minute drive, 35 minutes it's 40 minutes from my house to Acorns and Threads. It's 35 minutes because the venue, the hotel where we do Pinwis is just about 5 minutes closer. All right, so I started at the bottom in the middle, right down there, and I started on these green leaves. And so it's not very much, and this is, oops, I'm gonna grab my tag. This is Atomic Ranch, and it is a serial number, LE34, is that a 5678. It is Ada, and it's 18 count, and it's sort of a washed out black. Not shaming the washed out look. I kind of like it, but it's not a crisp dark black. So, you know, but I had it, and I thought it would be great for something like this. So anyway, I have my green thread still in it, and so you turn it around so it's, you're looking at it right side up. This is the bottom where I started with the green leaves, and that is in the center, and I've got the left hand side of the green leaves done, and I started working on the right hand side, and then ran out of time because I did like about this. I worked on this during one of our Salem Mary Stitcher Thursday night get-togethers on Zoom, and I worked on about 3 projects that night. So this was the last one that I worked on, and I wanted to start it before our time ended. So I did. So that is my second start for February, and I think February. I'm trying to remember what my other start was. I have to look at the spreadsheet. So I am still trying to figure out, where did I was like opening a project bag that this doesn't go in. So I was still trying to figure out, well, maybe now, sorry, my brain just went, and I'm hungry. I haven't had to eat breakfast yet, and we are leaving a bit, okay, in less than an hour. It's my dad's 90th birthday was this week, and we ordered the cakes, and so just heard some thumps from the bedroom. My husband's getting up, and so the other small, and you could have said for this one it was also repeated motifs, but I only put it in one of my prompts. This is Ladybug Picnic. I did not have the pomegranate fabric, but I did have cotton candy from Mystic Fabrics. Look at that pink. And so I started on the leaves at the very middle bottom of this, well, maybe not the middle. Yeah, no, it wasn't the middle because I started over there. Okay, so yeah. So I started at the middle, which was, or really close to the middle, which was that one right there. So working to the right, and so I got some more green parts done. And I'm up to the higher green parts to the right there are actually starting to get into the green parts that obscure the ladybug. So if you look at this, the ladybug is hidden in the flowers and leaves. So I actually started to work, I got over to this part, did this, getting over to this part here. So I think with this one, I'm going to do the flowers, and then I'm going to stitch the darker flosses. So hold on. Okay. So finally, the prompt that I've worked on is the prompt with an animal that is a common pet, which is cats, of course. And so this is Snuggle is Real, and this is something that my friend Tammy Woodland Stitching Studio was working on, and so this was from Just Cross Stitch magazine, December 2023. She lent me her copy so I could make this Xerox, and then ironically I saw a December 23 issue at Acorns and Threads like a number of months later. Sometimes they don't really have back issues necessarily, but sometimes they'll get some extra copies of things that are only a year or two old. So, and sometimes if they sell out of something that for that year, like I wanted to get the fall issue and I missed it because I came into the store too late. It had been sold out. So I said, hey, are you going to get more copies? And they're like, yeah, we are going to, we have ordered some more. And I said, can you hold one for me? So I know it's in we don't have inboxes for those of us that order from Acorns and Threads, but we do have like a big manila envelope. And they have like a bin of manila envelope. So it's in my manila envelope along with the Lady of the Flag pattern. And so I know those two things are waiting for me. And I need to go in, next Saturday super early before the other things I have committed to pick up. I'm going to get paid next Thursday or Friday because February, being a short month. So yeah, so I need to go in and get that. So anyway, this Snuggle is Real, and I'm working on the slipper and working my way up, and I stitched the lightest color on this part of the heel of the slipper. So not much, but the thing is lately, and I can talk at the end of the video about life stuff, I'm doing more that isn't cross stitch, and so I'm lucky if I have an hour to stitch every day, or sometimes I'll have at least an hour, but I'll be so tired that I don't get a chance to stitch. So I'm happy if I'm touching whips, spending an hour on maybe each one, and Sundays are usually my day for doing a bunch of work on 4 or 5 whips, if I can get to that many. 4 whips is probably my limit. And anyway, like last Sunday I touched like 4 whips, and then Monday, which I hope to touch whips, I ended up taking my car into the shop and going to Michael's for some other sorts of craft things, and so I think I touched 2 whips last Monday. So anyway, this is Dimensions Gold Petites, and this is Kitten Reflections, and I hadn't touched this for like 19 years maybe, so I have pulled it out, and what did I do this time? I realized that I had stitched this olive with the wrong number of flosses, because I realized, oh yeah, they wanted us to do four floss thickness down here, and whenever we're doing that dark olive, we're supposed to do 4 floss thickness. Maybe I can get away with that not being 4, but I went back over in this area to thicken up my flosses. So I am trying to fill in these first 6 rows, so I can say, okay, 6 rows, I'm done, because this piece does not have a stitch count in their description. It has the finished piece is going to be a 7 by 5. It's full coverage, but I was trying to add up. Oh, and the pattern itself does not have like numbers on it. It has every 10 stitches are marked, but it doesn't count up how many stitches. So it's kind of like 120 by 90 stitches, and it's on 18, I think it's 18 count. Oh yeah, 18 count ivory. So it's going to be small-ish in terms of the overall size, but anyway, so yeah, it's going to be it's going to be something, and I'm still loving it. I hadn't touched it for 19 years, and I feel bad that I missed out on that enjoyment. But I'm really appreciating it now, since I've done so much other kinds of fabrics and patterns. And oops, I left out I have a little box for all my bobbins that fits in this bag. So, all right. Finally, the other cat pattern that I touched this week was the snow. It was House Without a Cat, and this is on Summer Sky Joblin. I forget the count, maybe a 32 count, I forget. And this is a memorial piece to my cat Velveta, and I have changed the floss colors to match her blue silver gray fur. So, which is different than what's called for on this pattern. Everything else in this pattern, in terms of the flowers and looking at the flowers, going, okay, the picture's a little different, because on these flowers there's a lighter portion and a darker portion, and the darker portion is the nice kind of bright dark. It's a dark red, but it's sort of bright, but it's really orangey, the edges of these flowers. So so that will look a little different from the packet, from the picture. And so I worked on the orange flowers to the left-hand side. And so now I'm gonna probably go back to the red flowers. The cat part, I did a block of the cat, and I'm gonna get back to that, but I kind of wanted to get an edge, so I knew I was stitching the limits of the cat in the right spot, because I kind of got a little worried that I wasn't stitching the cat part in the right area. So everybody here is catching this really bad cold, and I was supposed to connect with a friend this morning to do something, and she is sick, and so I was like texting her, like, you need to take care of yourself. Let's put this off for another time. So because there are, and I think this is just, it's allergies, because it's spring. The dandelions are starting to bloom. Hate dandelions. Not dandelions. Dandelions are fine. Love dandelions. Like to eat dandelion greens. It's the daffodils. That's it. Daffodils. Ugh. So, and I just checked I have a camellia bush in the back, and lots of people's camellias are starting to bloom. Mine are still tight buds, so that's good. All right, so that is all the whips, and now I have we had Salem Mare Stitchers had our mini retreat. I should sit up more so you're not just seeing my chin cut off. we had our mini retreat yesterday, and Tammy brought a bunch of finishing stuff, and I actually got some, and I already put them away, but I got a couple wooden pieces that you finish cross stitch on, and one of them is a round container that you can put drum, like a drum stitch on, and I have a couple drum stitches that one of which I'm working on, and a bunch that I've got to work on at another time. And so I thought, oh, hey, this might go for some of those drum pieces, which would be good. And then there was a square box about the size of where my hands are showing, and I thought that would be good to paint up and put in the cat bathroom when I start finishing the kitty calendar squares, which will be little. And so that box, I could put all 12, I think, in that box, and it has a lid, and so the kitty calendar pieces would be in the cat bathroom with a little wooden box, and and the boxes are unfinished wood, so you can paint them or stain them however you want. I might even paint a cat on it. So anyway, so that was what Tammy also did, a little mini tutorial on flat folds and on flat folds and cording, which I really wanted to see, but Lisa Holt, my friend from Tigard and Sailor Mary Stitcher, she was like, Robin, have you worked on your Annie B's Christmas pears from Jingle Ball? I'd like to finish those. Have you worked on yours? I'm like, no, I haven't, because I don't sew. I don't have a functional sewing machine. And so she's like, well, I got a small sewing machine. I've got all this finishing, and we both got the kit from Annie B's. And so she's like, I'm gonna bring my sewing machine, I'm gonna bring this, I'm gonna bring an iron, and Kara, who hosted the day yesterday, she quilts, she sews, she has all the stuff at her house too. So we were ironing in one room, and we were sewing in another room, and everybody else was in the dining room stitching and then doing Tammy's stuff, which I'm sorry that I missed. So I was cutting out my pears, and I cut out the pears from the fabric, and then I had and I pinned them, and I cut out my velveteen, and then Lisa did the sewing for me because I don't sew, and I didn't want to have to learn on the fly yesterday with something as tricky as sewing these together. And this one was the most fiddly because I didn't leave enough margins. So anyway, these are unstuffed, but they're ready to be stuffed, and I have fiberfill here at home. I wanted to go to Bimart and get some copper BBs and put those in. There's a little piece of fuzz here. Put these in the pears to weight them down. There's also glass beads you can put in these to weight them down. I think Annie B's talks about using glass beads. And so anyway, so I have my little Noel pear, I have my Joy pear, and I have my No Word pear. And that's literally in the order I stitched them, Noel, Joy, and this one. And I didn't do the rocking horse. And so these are ready to be stuffed. I did start cutting out the wool bases. And and then I have plenty of, I'm gonna have to dig this out. I have plenty of silk to do the decorative specialty stitches on the edges of these, which is right along this edge. You do a specialty stitch in the silk. And the base and stitching these up I can do by hand. In fact, that's kind of how you do it. You do the machine stitching to put together, because this is a 3D. Okay, there's two pieces of velveteen pairs that were pear-shaped when I cut them, and because you use the same this is the inside, and this is the sewing line. So I did cut out my velveteen with this, and so Joy and the No word had enough. It had a definite stitching line. The Noel did not. It was fiddly, and that's why I was really happy that that Lisa agreed to stitch them for me, and didn't get some of her stuff stitched, but she can do that at home, and she was okay with that. And I'm gonna get her a gift certificate to Acorns and Threads as a thank you, because I told her, I said I would pay you to do this, and I think she was kind of like, no, you don't need to pay me. And I'm like, oh, but I do. So anyway, so they're back in the box for another fully finishing day. And hopefully next year I will have, or next Christmas I will have these fully finished. So that is whips, finishes, and sit up straight. And so I get like, oh, I'm so excited. So, all right. So talked about Acorns and Threads, Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. We have talked about Sailor Mary Stitchers. I missed stitching on Jeanette Douglas today. That is, I'm learning as I'm doing these prompts, okay? So last year, what I did for Flosstube content that I thought was fun, and I hope that you thought it was fun too, was I showed the Mystic Fabrics, because I was in a fabric of the month, and I was always getting Mystic Fabrics once a month, and then I would take the fabric I get and pair it with something in my stash, because I have 260 patterns plus in stash, and so I have stuff to pair it to. That's not even counting the magazines and the books and all the stuff, all the other stuff besides just the patterns. And so, hey Willow, she's poking around down below, so sniffing the Annie B's box. And so I thought that would be fun and something, to get people thinking about, well, what do I have in stash, or what do I have to pair? And also showing Mystic Fabrics fabric, which is beautiful. But this year, I didn't do my Fabric of the Month club because I'm just getting a lot of fabric, and the white dresser, we already had an episode about it exploding with stuff, and it's still exploding. The whips are now in a banker box. They aren't in the white dresser. They're in banker boxes next to the white dresser. And so we were talking about somebody whose husband was threatening to, this is not anybody, oh wait, I think it is a person in our group, that her spouse was threatening to hire a organizer to organize all of her cross-stitch stuff because it was all over the place, or organize her craft room. And we were all like talking, well, it would have to be somebody that knew stitching, and yeah, how could that work? And I said, well, if somebody threatened me with that, I said, I've got everything in the white dresser in unlabeled banker boxes, and I have a lot of other banker box stuff in that room, and and the rest of it is in cabinets, and the cabinets are closed. So point out the cross-stitch stuff that I would need to organize, because all the stuff that's out, like this, are in my dining room. And a couple times, a couple months, the stuff in my dining room goes away because I'm hosting Stitch Group, and I put them away. So because I use the other table that's in front of me, I use to lay out tables so everyone will have enough room for stitching. And don't have enough chairs. I only have 8 chairs, but I do have plenty of table space. And I even have a card table that I've never had to use for stitching. So, plus I have 2 recliners with good lighting. I have long dining room, living room, so I have plenty of places for people to stitch at. And I have a desk unit in the front room next to the white dresser where one person could stitch. So anyway, here's Willow. Hi, Willow. For her close-up or sort of cameo. Yes, Willow. Yeah. So anyway, so there's Willow's close-up. I knew she would. So yeah, so where was I going with this organization? So yeah, so that was my, oh, well, yeah, good luck organizing my cross stitch because it's already organized, it's already put away. So at least, and I have it on spreadsheets, so it really is organized, even though it's expanded a lot. So that's why I stopped doing Fabric of the Month, is I needed to conserve space. And so let's see. So anyway, so I told you about what we did yesterday at our stitch group, and Tammy doing a cording and flat fold finishing, because she actually talked about the flat folds and like folding it and, you know, getting stuff thin, or, you know, having glue. And I think at one point I walked into the stitch room and she was like gluing something while she was explaining it. And so I'll have to get her to help me do some of that this coming year. So Lisa and I did get 1 hour of stitching in. We finished up where we wanted to go with the pairs, which was finishing the sewing part, definitely for me, starting the sewing part for her, getting stuff cut out so that everything is ready to go with the rest of the finishing, and just having encouragement of a friend saying, okay, I want to get this much done, will you do it with me? And so that's the power of having stitchy friends and community, is that you have people, you may be timid about something and not confident about getting it done, or it seems so big and overwhelming you just want to procrastinate. And so having a friend saying, hey, can we do just this part, and getting started. I mean, that was a whole Jeanette Douglas part that we're doing as a group. Is the Jeanette Douglas stitching album it's pages and pages of stitching samplers that are like big, and well, kind of big, and you know, and then having to organize and having like certain amounts of having all the pages and serging all the pages and having the pages of a certain size. And so, you know, we are all, you know, encouraging each other on that. We're all encouraging each other on our big ass project day, which I did get one of my big ass projects like all stitched, which was the Roses Sal. My other, which is Purple Pansy Angel, I'll have to stitch. Well, I'm out a month because we have one more stitch day. And we've already done our project bag, so, or not project bag, our project day. So I just had a notice on my camera. I think I'm running out of storage space, so I need to wind this up. But anyway, so that's what we've been doing. Beach retreat for Acorns and Threads is coming up in April, and yeah, storage space is low. So anyway, it's going to kick me off in a minute. So that's it. And keep busy and keep fighting for democracy.